Hello and welcome. Welcome to the Arts Council of Surrey Community Gallery here at the Newton Cultural Centre. My name is Wendy Mould. I'm the producer of ACS Gallery Talks. I'm here today to introduce you to our featured artists for the month of February, Sussanne Hoiberg and Mareija Eskelinen. Works by these artists are here until February 27th. You may view their show online at the Arts Council of Surrey.ca or in person here in the gallery. Sussanne's show, Art is Love, relates to her Nordic background. Sacred geometry, butterflies, and symbolism relating to Norse mythology are her passion and her inspiration. Art is the language that has given her the courage to express herself with confidence. Mareija's show, Nature's Melody, reflects nature's tremendously magnificent and transient ways, the constant changing as the earth turns, the light shifts, and the seasons ebb and flow. She seeks to convey the essence and emotional resonance of a scene, a moment when the world feels exceptionally brilliant. I'm looking forward to talking with the artists and learning more about their passions. Let's go meet the artists. Well, good morning, Sussanne. It's really exciting to see you here at the gallery with your work.
Hi, Wendy. I'm so excited to be here.
I know, it's crazy. We've been together as artists in different events over the years, but we haven't seen each other for a while, so it's really neat.
We've been in and about town, I guess.
Yes. So now, your first picture here, the owl nose.
Yes.
Can you tell us the story about this picture? I know it's kind of interesting from what you were saying.
Yes, well, I didn't exactly know what it actually meant when I started this painting. Now, I would be out in nature a lot and I would see owls all over the place. They actually kind of followed me, and my artwork is intuitive and expressive, so I would meditate and I would also see the owls in my meditation, so that's why I knew that this was going to be an owl. And I actually drew the owl first in oil pastel. And while I was doing it, I would continue meditating and sending my thought process out in what the owl meant and nature and life around me. And so the owl and the tree is all in oil pastel. And then once I was ready with that, I wet the whole background, and I had all different colors of watercolor paint that I felt really played well together. And I would do this kind of a symphony with the paint, and I would throw the paint at the watercolor paper, and I would just keep on painting until something in my head said, "Oh, Sussanne, stop, that's it, step away from the painting." And the next day, everything would dry and settle, and then all these images appeared. As the paint dried and settled, images, faces, and things appeared, and the ones that really spoke to me, I highlighted them. And actually, at the time when I did this painting, I wasn't exactly sure what the images were about. I mean, I could see that there was goddesses and these little pygmies and little animals up in here. But there was a lot of fear and a lot of wolves and attacking. So later on in my career, I did find out that this was connected to PTSD that I was suffering in my own life. And I had childhood trauma, abuse, also many accidents. And so as I've been in therapy, I have figured out what this piece meant. And it was a big jump start to the next paintings that I would create in my own healing process.
Well, let's have a look.
Yeah.
So this is picture number 2 in your process. So give us the story.
Well, this is balance, harmony, love. And it's actually a combination of runa symbols It was things that I wanted to bring into my life at the time, and I believe it was in 2019. So I was searching for an art studio to live and work, and I wanted love and abundance. So these symbols, like the finch, the fruit, it's all about the growth. And of course the heart is bringing love. And love is not just relationship, it's love in all areas of life. And the symbol around it is just securing it in place, so to make it. And it's the same process I did with this painting, where I wet the background and threw all the paint, and then all these images came through, and I believe they're from my Viking ancestors.
Oh, neat,
Yes.
very neat. Yes, I can certainly see that. As you talk, I can just, it totally makes sense.
Yes.
And yeah, very
So
lovely.
many of my paintings is just, it's not just this image, but you need to take time and just really, you can take a lot of time to find many faces in the works.
Right,
Because
right.
the painting speaks for itself, I guess. Everybody has a different way of seeing it, I guess.
Yes, yes, that's right. Although sometimes I think, you know, we need titles sometimes just to focus the ones that don't understand at all.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's important to
Yes.
include them into your audience as well.
Yes. And it helped me to bring me to the ARC, the artist residence on Powell Street.
Neat,
So
neat. Yes, I was.
it really helped. I mean, and I really loved living there. So.
Yes, when I saw that you were there, I thought, wow, what an awesome artist
Yes.
experience. Yeah. Okay, well, let's have a look at your next piece.
Okay.
So this is quite different from the other two, and you're obviously moving into another phase. Can you
Yes.
tell us about it?
Well, this one, the cocooned heart, I painted this. This was one of the first paintings I painted when I lived in the artist residence at the ARC, and it was also in 2020, in the summer
Oh,
of
wow.
2020. I was actually a little bit angry at first when I was painting this, because I was angry because I thought, how am I going to find love here? So, because I meditated and I did see a heart. So the first thing I drew was this heart, but it was like, yeah, I love you. But after I did that, I realized that I needed to love myself and forgive myself for everything that had happened to this point in my life. Like, everything had to happen for me to make this painting. And living at the ARC, it gave me a chance to paint every day without any outside distractions. And I would let the intuitive expression flow right into this painting. And then there was a point where I realized that I actually wanted to cocoon the whole world, because the whole world was suffering at the time. And I felt as myself as a single person living in an art studio where there was 80 artist residences in our building, but I wasn't allowed to meet anybody. So yeah, there was a reason why I was a little angry, but then I felt the love. In my meditations, I actually felt the love come from the world. And it was online, so many different ways that we felt it. So in my own way, I wanted to send my own love out to the world. And if you look closely at this painting, you can see many portals that you could travel through if you wanted to go somewhere else for a moment. And that's kind of what I did in this painting. And it helped me to heal and to paint the rest of these.
Wow, that's really neat. I love all the little, there's so many things. You're right. The eye is just kind of wandering around, finds little places. Very neat, very neat.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your work with me today, and it was really interesting to learn about your work.
Yes. I love talking about art and hanging out with other artists, and I look forward to what will be happening during our show and the new people we're going to meet.
Good.
Thank you.
All right. So hi, Mareija.
Hi,
It's- It's really nice to talk to you today about your art, and oh my goodness, I love this picture you're standing in front of. That is just everything I adore. I like the hiking, like the lakes, the mountains. Tell me about this picture.
Okay. I've always painted, something I've done since childhood, and I feel like most artists can relate to that. There's never really a beginning. But after my first child was born, I found that time quite challenging, and painting became a real solace for me, something that I feel like I actually need to do now in order to feel grounded and centered. And this painting, Picture Lake, was probably the second painting I did after he was born. And it's from memories of my own childhood. Picture Lake is accessible from the Mount Baker ski area in Washington, and the mountain that you see is Mount Shuksan. And apparently it is the most photographed mountain in the world, and that's why the lake is called Picture Lake. So I would often spend my summers visiting this area and hiking with my family, and all along the ground grow alpine blueberries, which are delicious to pick in the summer and eat, and keep little kids motivated. So for me, this brings up a lot of fond memories, and it was a great process creating and beginning this artistic journey that I feel like just keeps going and growing from that point.
Wow, I wish my first painting looked like that. But
Second. But not second ever, just
right.
from
No,
that
that is awesome, and yes, I totally know what you mean though. One of my first ones too, I did it drawing, and it was like, oh my goodness, this is good,
Yeah.
and that's what gets you going, eh?
Yeah, I feel like I'm almost addicted to this process of creating because it's so meditative. And I think all of us, we need a way to get out of our own heads.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
And for me, that's art, and it works like magic.
Okay, well let's go have a look at another one of your pieces.
Sure.
Well, this is really awesome picture. I love peonies, and this is just great in perspective. Tell us about this.
I love peonies as well, and I've always loved them. They're so luscious, they're so bountiful, there's so many petals, there's so much dimension to this flower. And this one is one that I grew in my own garden, and when I finally got one to bloom well, I took tons of pictures so that I'd have references to paint it. And when I sit down to paint, I have my reference, and I do stay very true to the photo because I find painting from imagination can be very challenging because there's so much happening the way the light shines that to imagine it from nothing is a really difficult task. So when I paint, I do really like to focus on where the light is and where the shadows are. So the light's coming this way behind the peony and through. And then I had a lot of fun doing all of these details in the center. And here, once I got the shape down, I had a lot of freedom with the way I painted those.
It's neat. I love especially that little touch of light at the very back there, kind of leading into the whole thing. Makes a lovely composition, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that's what I really loved about this photograph.
Yeah. Well, let's
Yeah.
go look at your next piece. This is really different. The garden snake. What on earth is this about? How did you get started on this kind of thing?
I got started on these kind of 3D plywood pieces because I wanted to create something functional for my own home. I created a floral sculpture for my children to use as a coat hook in our foyer. And I had so much fun doing it that I want to keep doing it and keep playing with this idea. I love the way that it is so three-dimensional and creates so much depth because pieces are separated. And beyond that, it also gives me a lot of freedom to divorce myself from my reference images and have a lot more fun and be more creative and spontaneous with it.
So I can tell you're already probably going to do more of these kind of pieces, eh?
They're quite fun. They are a process and they do take a lot of time, but I enjoy them.
So just walk us through but quickly what your process would be for something like this.
I usually start in my sketchbook and I just create many iterations of reference drawings. So different ways I can draw the flowers or the ferns or the snake and shapes that I can put them in. And once I have quite a few that I like, I will draw them on paper and cut them out and play with them, layering them, moving them around, trying to create a balanced shape, because it's not like a canvas where you have a square frame. You have this shape that you're creating. It doesn't have to be anything. It could be whatever you want. So that takes me a solid chunk of time playing around, and once I have a layout that I like, I will separate it into the two layers, and I put one layer on top and one below, then kind of hovering on parchment paper so that I can transfer my idea onto the plywood, and I get in there and cut it out with a jigsaw. And my next step is then to drill the dowel holes that hold all these pieces up, and that's quite challenging because I have to I put my foreground pieces on top, and then I will trace where I've placed them, take them off, drill the dowels through the background, then I will put those foreground pieces back on and clamp them in place, and then flip the whole art over and drill from the back side so that I get support in those front pieces that go at more than halfway through.
Right, yes, yeah.
And then the painting is just fun. The painting
Right.
is where I've got all the hard work done, and I get to just
Do the glory work.
Yeah, it's easy at that point.
Yeah.
And this one, I have a snake.
Mm-hmm.
In my childhood, I used to go with my brother into the forest and catch them and collect them in buckets and play with them.
Right. Yeah.
And the buttercups and the ferns, they grow in my garden like weeds. And they say if you can't beat them, join them. So I'm trying to appreciate the beauty of these. And you know what? It has helped. There is a lot to appreciate there.
Well, very, very interesting. I'll look forward to seeing some other pieces like this, because I think you'll go from 2 layers to maybe 3 or 4. Like, the sky's the limit now, right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I really enjoyed talking to you today about your art, and look forward to seeing some of your pieces in the future.
Great, thank you, Wendy.
Okay. Thank you, ladies, for sharing your art with us today. It was truly an enjoyable experience to talk with you and learn more about your art and your passion. Suzanne's show, Art is Love, and Mareija show, Nature's Melody, can be seen here at the Newton Cultural Centre until February 27th, 2026, or online at the artscouncilofsurrey.ca.